We continue with news from the courts. Convicted rapist Oscar Ingram was expected to learn his fate today. However, he will have to wait a bit longer to find out how much time he will spend behind bars. Prosecutors feel he should be sentenced to life after a psychiatrist described him as a serial rapist who is a danger to society.
Well, prosecutors also contend that 30-year-old Ingram, who shows no remorse for his crime and if released will probably commit similar crimes. Ingram was convicted earlier of 2 separate counts of burglary, armed robbery, and rape. One of the incidents took place during an island-wide blackout. Attorney Raquel Wims prosecuted the case. Well, President of the Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas, Mark Humes, is defending the reported request of a $400,000 annual salary for Dr. Rodney Smith, who was confirmed as the new president of the College of the Bahamas. Dr. Smith's appointment was controversial from the start, as he served as college president back in 2005, but resigned after reports of plagiarism. Humes says the requested salary, which may seem exorbitant to some, is reasonable. The education minister says he's authorized the college council to negotiate reasonable contract terms with Dr. Smith consistent with terms agreed previously with former presidents. He also recommended that consideration be given to the usual cost of living increases. According to the minister, cabinet also felt if financial terms and benefits can be agreed with Dr. Smith, the terms of the contract in the first instance should not exceed 3 years with the usual option to renew. Meantime, the College of the Bahamas responding tonight, saying UTEB President Mark Humes should not be discussing intimate details of the due process that is currently taking place with respect to Dr. Smith's appointment. In a statement today, the college said it is alarmed that Mr. Humes, who served on the Presidential Advisory Search Committee, is freely discussing confidential information and is strongly advising Mr. Humes to adhere strictly to his obligations as a council member.
Now, with value-added tax fast approaching, many business owners are in preparation mode. Tonight, Siaska Adley talks to several of them on the way forward.
Preparing more than 4,000 businesses for the implementation of value-added tax will not be easy, with 3 months to go as businesses work feverishly to ensure that systems are in place before January 1st. The automotive industry has already begun reducing inventory and adjusting software. And while preparation is one thing, the bottom line is another. In a VAT environment, the new car industry will suffer as pricing disparity is created. As a result of taxation, President of the Bahamas Motor Dealers Association, Fred Albury, says the industry will take a major hit once VAT comes on stream.
We're at a breaking point, and so don't be surprised by the middle of next year that there are some cutoffs as far as staffing is concerned.
While that is expected to impact all businesses, businesses like Furniture Plus and Family Guardian do not expect any major fallout.
No, we're not expecting that there will be a hit per se, but there will be increased costs and we will have to administer that. And there could possibly be reduction from the sales point of view, because consumers now are going to have to pay more and maybe less able to afford insurance products.
We have to be ready, there's no option. We wish we had more time, obviously, but we don't. So we're meeting every week, and we're also getting our financial advisors and our auditors in to help us make the right decisions.
On the heels of Tuesday's VAT seminar, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Edison Sumner, underscored that there is much to do in 90 days, and education is crucial to smoothing the transition.
When we see that VAT is coming on stream, January 1, a lot of business people just don't know what to expect. They don't know how to prepare for what's happening.
With VAT, the government is hoping to collect a minimum of $200 million annually. Siaska Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, it's been 22 years in the making, and now finally residents of Garden Hills No. 2 will get to enjoy a community park of their own. Garden Hills MP Dr. Kendall Major signed contracts for more than $300,000 for the first phase of construction last week. Dozer Heavy Equipment secured a $23,000 contract to clear and prepare the land, while some $63,000 worth of contracts for the second phase will go to tender in a few weeks. Dr. Major says he's excited to see more developments in his constituency taking place.
We have initiated a person to be responsible for maintaining the park right now, and that was one of the first things we needed to do to get the government to recognize that this park exists. So there's someone who's contracted to maintain the park every month. After the park is completed, then we would plan to have a warden from the community who could stake out and maintain the park. These are all works in progress, and so it is my duty as the Member of Parliament to agitate, to advocate for the people so that it is on the government's, it stays on the government's radar, and the people essentially get what they deserve.
Chairman of the Garden Hills No. 2 Crime Watch Association, Kirk Farquharson, says he's been campaigning for this facility since day one and says he can already see how families can stay active.
Garden Hills No. 2, within a mile or 2 mile radius, is the only community that does not have a community park. And so that was one of the things that we came together on so that we can push and try and get it. And we believe that it will really help us in terms of the core of the development program for various programs within the community.
Now to news from BEC. Chairman Leslie Miller says the energy company has paid a big chunk of its outstanding fuel debt. Miller had warned that the country could experience a massive blackout if that bill was not paid. Today he talked to reporters about the issue outside of Parliament.
We have been paying down on the bill. We were paying Shell West approximately $7 million per week. We'll be getting our fuel this week. Fuel will be coming in. So we're in pretty good shape.
Now, Miller also gave an update on that $30 million owed to BEC by resort operators on the Cable Beach Strip.
A few $1 million to us.
I know last time we checked it was 2. You know that exact figure now, how much it is now?
It's over that. It's over that amount. And we have a relationship with them now. I've met with the hoteliers and they have agreed to step forward onto the plate and brings their bill current, and they've been doing so. Except we got a problem with one of the hotels in Abaco that we need to deal with. That's the major outstanding one is in Abaco. But in New Providence, the hotels are in fact responding very well to the needs of BC.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Officials at Furniture Plus say the company will be ready when value-added tax is rolled out January 1st. The company's CFO, Ernie Blues, says right now they're in the process of adjusting their software, though he wishes they had more time to prepare for this new tax regime.
It's a new tax on the Bahamian people, which is obviously adverse to everybody, unfortunately. We wish that the government would try and control their expenditure so that the need for more tax would be reduced. But at the end of the day, we have to comply, and we will be complying with the tax.
In other business news, 30 of the top performing sales brokers at Sotheby's International Realty received an insider's view of the luxury residential offerings at Bahamar. Bahamar's Vice President of Real Estate Philip Day and residential sales agent Will Booton led North American brokers on a tour of the $3.5 billion resort expected to open next year. And in international news, the French government has said it will reduce its budget deficit to below the European Union's threshold of 3% of GDP by 2017, 2 years later than promised. The new forecast indicates the public deficit will fall to 4.3% next year, but to 2.8% by 2017. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.